Boxing isn't just a sport, it's a battle of wills, strength, and skill. And in one of the most electrifying matchups of the year, Gervonta "Tank" Davis and Lamont Roach went head-to-head in a fight that left fans talking long after the final bell. The high-stakes bout was eagerly anticipated, with many expecting Davis to dominate the ring, but what unfolded was nothing short of a spectacle. The fight ended in a controversial draw, a result that left many questions unanswered. So, what happened in this epic showdown, and why is it sparking so much debate in the boxing community? Let's break it down in this comprehensive analysis.
Let's get it from Capone, have fun, got to dance for me.
Before we dive into the details of the fight, let's take a closer look at the two fighters involved. Gervonta Davis, known for his explosive knockout power and aggressive fighting style, has been considered one of the brightest young stars in the sport. His speed, strength, and technique have earned him a reputation as one of the hardest-hitting fighters in boxing. Throughout his career, Davis has been relentless, dispatching his opponents with brutal precision. On the other hand, Lamont Roach, while perhaps not as well known to casual fans, has built a solid reputation within the boxing world. Roach is a tactical fighter, known for his agility, defensive skills, and strategic approach to the sport. Despite being the underdog heading into this fight, Roach's technical prowess and ability to adapt to his opponent's style have made him a formidable opponent. The stage was set. Gervonta Davis, the power puncher, versus Lamont Roach, the tactician.
The ready 100 in green.
The moment the bell rang, it was clear that both fighters had come prepared. Davis wasted no time in trying to impose his will on Roach, coming out strong and fast, looking to land some heavy shots early. Roach, however, was calm and composed. He didn't panic when Davis came charging forward. Instead, he showcased his superior footwork and movement. Roach's ability to slip punches and counter effectively had Davis on the back foot for much of the round. Davis's power was evident, but Roach was proving to be difficult to hit cleanly. Throughout the first few minutes, Davis was struggling to land his typical heavy hooks and uppercuts. Roach, on the other hand, was making his shots count, landing clean jabs and counter punches. It was a competitive start, with both fighters asserting themselves in different ways. As the rounds progressed, Roach's resilience became even more apparent. Despite being considered the underdog, he wasn't backing down. Davis continued to press the action, throwing powerful combinations, but Roach's defense was on point. He showed impressive head movement, avoiding many of Davis's big shots. Even when Davis did land a clean punch, Roach's ability to absorb the power and counter immediately made it clear he wasn't intimidated by Davis's reputation. In this round, Roach started to establish more control over the tempo of the fight. He wasn't afraid to mix it up and take risks, darting in and out of range with speed and precision. For the first time in his career, Davis seemed frustrated. He was used to overwhelming his opponents early, but Roach wasn't giving him that luxury. By round 3, Davis knew he had to adjust his approach. His typical strategy of pressing forward aggressively was being stifled by Roach's clever counterpunching. Davis began to slow down a bit, trying to pick his shots more carefully rather than charging in recklessly. The power punches were still there, but Roach was making him pay every time he left himself open. This round was the first time we saw Davis take a step back and try to fight with a little more finesse. He was trying to box and outthink Roach, using his footwork to cut off the ring and land his heavy shots. Roach, however, continued to be elusive, and his jab was doing a lot of work to keep Davis at bay. While Davis landed some solid shots, Roach's defense was impressive, and he kept scoring with his clean counters. Round 4 was a turning point in the fight. It was clear now that Roach had Davis's number, and the fight was evolving into a true test of skill versus power. Roach was beginning to dictate the pace of the bout. His accuracy and composure under pressure were remarkable, and he was able to consistently land clean punches while avoiding Davis's power shots. Davis, despite his efforts, couldn't seem to find a way past Roach's defense. He looked frustrated as Roach continued to neutralize his attacks with smart movement and timings. Many in the crowd began to realize that Davis wasn't dominating this fight like they had expected. In fact, it was becoming clear that Roach might be outboxing the power puncher. As the fight continued into the later rounds, Roach began to show even more dominance. He started to outwork Davis, landing clean shots while minimizing his own exposure to Davis's bombs. Davis, known for his explosive knockout power, looked worn down as the rounds passed, unable to land any significant blows on Roach. In contrast, Roach's defense was impeccable. He was slipping punches, using head movement, and clinching when needed to neutralize Davis's offensive output. As the rounds went on, it was clear that Roach had more energy and was dictating the pace of the fight. One of the most talked about moments of the fight occurred in round 6. Davis, perhaps feeling the pressure mounting, went for broke and unleashed a powerful left hook that sent Roach stumbling back. For a split second, it looked like Roach might go down, but he regained his balance and maintained his composure. It wasn't a knockdown, but it did momentarily stun Roach, and fans speculated whether that would be enough to swing the judges in Davis's favor. What followed was a massive flurry of punches from both fighters as they sought to finish strong. Roach, despite being wobbled briefly, kept his focus and continued to box with precision, refusing to let Davis capitalize on the moment. The late surge from Davis was undoubtedly impressive, but it was clear that Roach had the upper hand for the majority of the fight. As the final bell rang, the tension in the arena was palpable. Fans and pundits alike were on edge, wondering how the judges would score this highly contested fight. Despite Davis's power and his brief moments of success, many observers felt that Roach had done enough to win the fight. His composure, technical skill, and ability to neutralize Davis's power had been impressive throughout the night. When the scores were read, the result was a draw. It was a decision that left many people scratching their heads. While some felt that Davis had done enough to earn a draw based on his power shots, others believed that Roach had outboxed him for most of the fight. The consensus seemed to be that Roach deserved the win, but the judges saw it differently. For Gervonta Davis, the draw was a setback. He was expected to dominate this fight, and while he showed flashes of brilliance, he couldn't impose his will on Roach the way many thought he would. The fight highlighted some weaknesses in his game, particularly when facing a fighter with superior technical skills. Davis will need to go back to the drawing board, refine his tactics, and figure out how to deal with opponents who are capable of neutralizing his power. On the other hand, Lamont Roach's performance was nothing short of spectacular. He proved that he belongs at the highest level of the sport and sent a clear message to the boxing world. Don't underestimate him. Roach's resilience, skill, and ability to weather the storm against a fighter like Davis were impressive, and many believe he could become a future champion if he continues on this path. In the end, the Gervonta Davis versus Lamont Roach fight was a reminder of why boxing is such a captivating sport. It's not always about who throws the most punches or lands the hardest shots. It's about strategy, resilience, and the ability to adapt. Roach's tactical brilliance stole the show in this bout, and Davis's inability to adjust raises serious questions about his future in the sport. As boxing continues to evolve, we can only hope for more thrilling matchups like this one. But the real question is, what will happen next for both of these fighters? Will Gervonta Davis be able to bounce back and reclaim his spot at the top? Or will Lamont Roach's stunning performance be the start of something even bigger for him? Only time will tell.